So what's going on, guys? It's Nate again with the Spot the Truck campaign. We just got to Charlotte, North Carolina, came over to go see our friends at.
Jesse Brown's.
So tell us a little bit about who you are in your shop.
So Bill Barty from Jesse Brown's. Jesse Brown's introduced fly fishing to Charlotte and to this metro area over 50 years ago. So we've been here 55 years. Fly fishing's been a part of us for 5 decades, and it's been an impactful part of our business over 3 generations now, maybe more, bringing people into the sport.
So this shop has, there's no way it's been at this location for that long. So have you guys moved around a bit, or has it been at this spot for that long?
We've been in this location for 35 of those years.
Wow. So you guys have been here for quite some time.
That's right.
That's a tried and true of a nice shop. If it's lasted all those years, you obviously have good customers, good clientele, and
Yeah,
you're keeping the people happy.
that's right. The best clientele has taken care of this business and outfitted, and really a lot of them have learned the sport through Jesse Brown's. So we have through our guide service, through our outfitting, through our council, wherever the trips are, whether they be local, heading to Western North Carolina, heading into the American West, or globally, people going fly fishing has been a big part of this. And the people that have worked here have been veteran anglers and good hospitality folks as well, and have taught fly fishing to Carolinians across the board.
So that's one thing I'm really starting to realize inside these big cities, because Charlotte to me is a big city, and I don't know if it is technically considering on a map, but to me it's a big city.
Big city.
Big city. A lot of people are getting outfitted to travel on these trips. They'll fish locally, but it seems like they're coming in, they're getting their stuff, and they're going out west, or they're going to Mexico, or they're going to the Bahamas. Do you see a lot of that?
Yes,
That
that is exactly how it works. There's the pursuit of fly fishing, and anglers who want to go fishing will fish wherever they can.
yeah,
But then there's the business of fly fishing, and big trips move the needle. Those are catalysts for people to have a reason to get a new rod, to get a new
100.
reel, to get that new line, to get that net, to get whatever they need. It's the big trips that move the needle. And of course, here at Jesse Brown's, we try to pay attention to all of it. But there's no doubt that a global trip or a big destination trip of any regard, we need to be wise to it, because there's an expectation there as a
Yeah.
full service fly shop that you know how to outfit for the Seychelles, for Argentina, for Alaska, for the Bahamas, for Mexico, for Belize, no matter where. We have to have our A game on, and have had our A game on for
It's
those decades.
if yeah, I was gonna say if you've been here for 50 plus years, or just in business, you've clearly built a clientele and a reputation where they can trust it. And that's one thing that at least where I'm at, you don't have to have all this different stuff, because when people travel there, they're fishing a certain species, a certain type of water, a certain. And not saying some of the shops don't have options, but you guys have to carry a wide variety of stuff to be able to accommodate these people going freshwater, saltwater all over the country. It's not just like you can have your basic freshwater stuff for Charlotte. You got to have your saltwater stuff and all that so they can travel and go and get a one-stop shop.
That's exactly right. We do that by paying attention to our history, listening to our customers, and kind of growing with their fishing needs, no matter where it is. There's no doubt 50 years ago, we maybe didn't have as much stuff for Bolivia or
Yeah.
Seychelles or some of those global places. But as we have developed our game along with our customers, along with our city, we've kept sharp and kind of grown with the fishing community.
Yeah, and it seems like the fishing community here is huge. Is what I'm starting to realize. I was over at your guys' friends at Orvis,
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "You got to go see our buddies at Jesse Brown." And I was like, "Okay, perfect. Fly shop, sending to a fly shop. That's what I like to see in these communities." So Manning was like, "Hey, you got to go see Elijah over there." And we ended up sitting here talking, hanging
yeah.
out for a little bit yesterday. And they're like, "Let's go fishing." So Manning ended up joining. August ended up joining, and Elijah, and we all piled in the truck this morning, 7:30 in the morning, cruised down to some river creek. They're like, "All right, you got to go in through these trees and down this path and across this bridge dam thing, and we're gonna go fishing." And we spent like 3 hours fishing today, just hanging out, talking, having a good time, and forgetting to videotape quite a bit because sometimes when you're in the moment and just having a good time, you're out in nature. It's not you forget to pick up that phone and take the videos and the pictures, and you get done and you're like, damn, should have done that. But it was a really cool day. It was the second I walked in this shop, I was greeted by one of your sales associates. Nothing but nice, nothing but welcoming. Just they made me feel like I've known them 100 years, and that was really cool about walking in here. And that's what's really cool about the fly community. In a whole, it's just a nice family environment. And I've been to probably 8 or 9 different fly shops now on this adventure, and every single one I walk in, it's, hey, how can we help you? Even if you're just looking, let us tell you a little bit about something. And you could really feel at home when you walk into Jesse Brown's, which was really cool. I ended up spending like 2 hours here yesterday.
That's a
But
good thing.
yeah, I didn't want to leave, but I had to go deal with the truck, and I kept parking it and getting tickets. So I finally found a
Wow.
safe spot to park it, and it's there. And hopefully they don't boot it in the morning before I leave for Virginia Beach. But we'll figure that out when that happens.
I must say the only bad thing I heard in the story is on that fishing trip, I wasn't invited, but it's because the
Yeah.
gang said you weren't there. If you'd been
Yeah.
there, we would have
They kept
invited you.
they kept saying you were out to lunch or somewhere and you'd be back in 30 minutes. We let 30 minutes go by 4 times, and
Busted.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I figured I should let the boys go back to doing what they were supposed to do, and I'd go deal with some other things.
Hey, back to what you were saying about the fly fishing community and people being willing to be friends and friendly. In that, part of that is part of the magic of it, and I think that is a part of the evolution of the sport because back in the day, that was not the reputation of a fly shop. That was not
Of
the
course.
reputation of a fly shop owner and the people who worked there. A lot of it seemed to be held information, top secret, what
Yeah,
fly to use. You need to buy some stuff before we'll share that.
of course.
Or you go into a shop and people had their head down at a vise tying flies, wouldn't even look up. That was then, and what you just described is now,
Yeah.
where the angling community is here, there, everywhere. Especially the shops who have invested in a brick and mortar, who have a
Yeah.
location with people who are willing to help people who are new to the sport, people who are maybe just need to knock the dust off of the sport, or people who are honing their skills at a higher level of experience. All of those people need some sort of attention, and they're all either in the family or one in the family, and it's
Yeah.
our collective jobs in the fly shop community to help that happen.
And do you guys just offer fly stuff here, or is it a wide range? Because I mean, I'm looking around your store and it's massive. There's stuff everywhere. It seems like you're not just a fly shop. It seems like you guys are an outdoor shop as well. So the people that are into hiking and things like that, can they come in here and get stuff for those adventures? Or
Yes, they can. And a lot of that is, again, I hate to say it over and over again, but the evolution of the sport. It used to be, someone who hiked didn't necessarily fish, and somebody who fished didn't necessarily
yeah,
climb, and somebody who climbed didn't necessarily hike. Now, those barriers of category are kind of eroded. We have so many hikers who are hiking in with their rod, their reel, to do a little rock hopping on a stream. We have so many anglers who are doing that, but also hikers who want into the sport of fly fishing as well. So that's been a big deal for us outfitting for, and we talked about travel and destinations, but having the right apparel, whether it be quick dry, wrinkle resistance, to have the right supportive walking shoe. So whether you're in Cuba, whether you're in the South Florida, wherever you may be, we want you comfortable, sun protective,
yeah, that's a
um,
huge thing.
and then you can enjoy the sport and enjoy the place wherever you are.
And that was one thing Elijah asked me the first thing. He's like, well, what kind of gear did you bring? And I was like, everything for on a boat. He's like, you don't have wading boots. And I'm like, nope. And he's like, I'll bring you a set tomorrow. Don't worry about it. The only thing I have are my sneakers and flip flops and different things that I just keep on the boat, throw in the dry box, and I call it a day. So he brought me some of those Sims boots.
Yes.
And I noticed that's what all the guys we were with were wearing.
Yeah.
And they made a world of difference as we're wading through this rocky terrain. You're going up a foot, down 2 foot, walking through this streams of water. And I was like, oh, this is way better. wasn't slipping on the rocks. I was able to stand still with all my camera gear, which was really nice. So those Sims boots were very, very comfortable and enjoyable.
And that's it. See, an experienced angler, but that is part of the evolution and the learning process, the education process of,
Yeah.
hey, we're fishing a different way here that take a few different tools out of the toolbox to.
And that's nice. And everything from dry bags to stuff, which I see you guys have, you guys carry Yetis, which is cool. Their dry bags are phenomenal. I don't know if you're familiar with them at all, but that's what I've been trusting my camera equipment in
Oh yeah,
because it floats.
yeah.
Once that's sealed up, I was like, it floats. I'm in, we're good. Have I ruined some microphones? Yes.
Well, you learn the hard way, but
You know.
our brand, the Jesse Brown's brand, has really been made up of a lot of solid, reputable, performing brands like whether it be Patagonia, Yeti, Sims, Fish
Yeah.
Pond. I mean, the list goes on and on. In fact, it's probably a bad form for me to try to mention them all
Yeah,
because
because there's so many that you enjoy.
there's so many that I enjoy, but it also makes up so much of the Jesse Brown's brand
Yeah.
collectively to have partnerships with those brands.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, the cool thing about this trip I've been on. I was telling you a little bit about it. 2 weeks into on the road trip, another month ago, you're really starting to notice a few similarities in shops, what everyone carries, or
Mm-hmm.
what some people might not carry. And it's cool to learn, why some shops love this stuff and why, it's just all clientele and market. And a lot of it is probably your own, R&D of stuff you probably just like having and easy access for you. Do you get to fish at all in Charlotte area? Or?
Yeah, I do. In fact, that's some of my favorite fishing stories have been local. So we have our big river that comes through this area is the Catawba River. It covers both states in the Carolinas, and of course, Charlotte is right on the border of North and South Carolina with the Catawba River coming. So uh, it makes up area lakes, which is great for boat fishing, but it also has some places that are available for a little bit of wade fishing. And one of my favorite fishing stories is one of my colleagues and I. Actually, we were filming a television show
Were you?
for someone else, and we were down in South Carolina at Lansford Canal State Park, and we were catching bass and brim. This particular area in May, June has this Rocky Shoals spider lily. It's a bloom that happens in shallow moving water in this particular place. And this is the world's largest bloom, believe it or not. So we were there with somebody filming a show, and we were going to fish, and we were catching, some brim. It's all these warm water species, but nothing spectacular. So I went out into the main channel, and I had my 5-weight fly rod, and I was kind of heave hoeing because my fly was a little too much for my rod.
Yeah.
So I was kind of double hauling it out as best I could, and then doing some kind of lob into the main channel. It would take the line and then strip. Well, this 5-pound river bass hit it, big largemouth hit it. And it was all I could do with this fish in the main channel.
That's a big fish for a 5-weight in a channel with current.
With current, and it was questionable. Now, Don, the man with me, he's retired now, was a soldier. He was coming out there to rescue me because this was a great fish for a television program that they were trying to film.
That's just a great fish in general.
Then,
yet alone a television.
Yes, then we had so he's like, Bill, get your rod tip up. We still have it on film. Get the rod tip back. He coached me all the way through it. But him waiting in that moving current to get out there with his net to help me land that fish is a memory that I will always appreciate. His help in that, but also just because of the full dynamic of that day, and it was all here locally.
That's cool. And one thing that Manny and Elijah and that what you're telling me is you guys have so many opportunities to do different style of fishing here. So it's not just one set and forget. I mean, you guys are going from, into the city to out to these riverbanks to on boats to drift boats and jet boats. I mean, it's just like the opportunities are endless, which is really cool.
Yeah, and earlier we were talking about the education part. I should say that in the Piedmont area where we are, this was big largemouth territory. We have two area lakes that surround our city. It's made up of, you know, bass boats and that sort of thing. We have Lake Norman to the north, Lake Wiley to the south, Mountain Island between them both. So um, conventional fishing has been strong in this area, and in the
For sure.
Carolinas throughout. Fly fishing was still a mystery. I can remember as a child, I had a neighbor. So I grew up in this area, and I had a neighbor who had a inner tube he would get in and float in his pond. And I would see this man out there in his pond with this buggy whip of
Yeah.
active action going back and forth. And I would ask my parents, his name was Buzzy. What is Buzzy doing out there in the pond? I mean, he's out there in this inner tube and he's got his buggy whip out there. Well, what he was doing was pan fishing with a fly rod. And that's one of the earliest memories that I had
I love
to
it.
myself becoming educated about that. Now, it's different in Asheville or Boone or Carolina
Yeah.
mountain towns. Of course, Bozeman and, Jackson, you go out west, it's a whole different vibe. But in the Piedmont of the Carolinas, over the course of those 55 years Jesse Brown's has been here, that was a sport with mystery, an air of mystery. And even to this day, people are still coming into the sport new and they want to be fresh and want to be in
100%.
to the point that you're making about there's opportunities locally to have a variety of different fishing with a fly rod along with our airport here that'll take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, and that was one thing when I was down in Atlanta at Fishhawk. They were, when this journey first started, I can't even pretend that I knew all these different places, why their fishing communities were strong. I kind of went into this blind. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna learn as much as I can about this area and about their community and meet people and talk to everybody. And Atlanta was one of those first big hubs that I was in. That when I was calling the guy on my way there, driving from Tybee, he was like, "We are a huge community. Not only can we fish locally, but it's just the availability to leave." And they have actually mentioned in that interview Charlotte. They're like, Charlotte is another one right there on the list where you guys that have guys that are able to work these corporate jobs that love fishing. They're able to be in the city, do everything they need to there. On Friday, get on a plane. There's 100 flights coming out of there to a bunch of different destinations every week, every weekend. So they just load up their gear. They're on a plane. They're back Sunday night, and then back to work Monday. And that's a really cool aspect because we have to travel fairly far to an airport for us. So you're kind of, it's not just a 10, 20-minute drive to international airport. We're 2 hours away plus finding parking and dealing with all that, that's what's really cool about fishing these areas or living in these areas. You're not landlocked. You have the options and your drives. You're not far out of Tennessee and you're not far out of all these different states that have a wide variety of different fishing and different bodies of water to fish and just general different environments.
That's important to know. And for your viewers out there, Charlotte is, 3 hours from the South Carolina coast, 3 hours from the North Carolina coast, 2 hours to the mountains of Western North Carolina or other southeastern fly fishing opportunities, as well as the airport thing that you mentioned.
Huge.
Our airport here is the sixth busiest in the nation or world.
Yeah.
As well as is the Atlanta airport too, very busy. Here we have the American Airlines hub.
Yeah, which is huge.
Which is so you can get anywhere pretty easily.
You can just about get anywhere you want to, and it's not a long flight to most of these places. From here to the Bahamas and all over. I mean, it's not, you're not far away. It's not like you're traveling across the country to go fish saltwater versus freshwater or just anything you really want to, which is, I mean, to me, super unique and something that I've just now, had shined a light on that I never considered, these places being that fishy because of that reason. It was just, I mean, it makes sense now. And if you think about it, it's like, duh, complete and total sense. But prior to that, I was like, oh yeah, these guys live in Charlotte. Like, how do they even fish? Like, what do they do? Like stream fish, pond fish, like, and you start to really realize there's just so many opportunities and you're driving not far to different places. And, a 2 hour drive to the coast is nothing.
Exactly.
You can sit on the couch and watch 2 hours of, one TV show and accomplish nothing, or you hop in the truck and drive 2 hours and you're fishing a completely different environment.
And in some of the most beautiful places in the world that are really close by here.
Yeah, and that's what I was just probably 35 minutes from here today. you know, when we were fishing that creek or river or
Don't say
whatever.
the name.
No, yeah, can't
Secret.
say what it is. Mainly because they blindfolded me when they put me in the truck and spun me around in a bunch of circles and fed me a breakfast burrito. I'm not complaining, but it
You
was
do what you can.
yeah, it was a super top secret spot according to the boys.
Unless you come to Jesse Brown's, and we'll give that
Yeah,
information away for free.
yeah, most likely it only took them about 10 minutes for them to tell me about their super secret spot. So just hang out here long enough and they'll want to get rid of you and then answer all your questions.
Actually, usually it's about 5 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. They made me wait out a little bit long. Yeah, but all jokes aside, I mean, as soon as I walked in here, it was nothing but, you know, welcoming arms and anything I needed. And the guys weren't pushing me on anything. It was just like, how are you doing today? How can we help you? Just super nice guys. So it was a great interaction when I got here. And that's what's really cool about like this community evolving, like you were talking about. You know, it used to be kind of secretive. And so far, all these guys, you know, just like the boys at Fish Knoxville and the guys over at the Hatch and you know Fly South, they've all just sat down, had conversation with me, and just been able to like you know just have a good time and not like oh man he might you know go steal our fish. It's like here this is what you need to go catch this. Like here's a location. We have the guys over at Fly South. You know they had a map pulled up and they're like fish this rock, fish that. Like go here. They're like we can't leave the shop today, but there's
This
fish
is where to
there.
go.
This is where to go, which is really cool, you know, especially for a guy that's traveling the country by himself, you know, doesn't know these areas to save my life. I haven't been to most of these states since I was 10,
Yeah.
you know, so it's all just kind of winging it. And I just kind of like walking in the shops randomly being like, I'm here. This is our deal.
Well, and part of it, just in this southern leg of your tour, what I like is the variety of the fly shops, partly built on the variety of the resource that's
Yeah.
in their neighborhood, and that's something you can't replicate because Charlotte to Atlanta to Nashville to Chattanooga to Knoxville to, I mean, any of those cities and beyond, the resources are all different around them, and
Very
it
different.
has driven, you know, as you said earlier, different product and some similarities in getting on a plane and being in some of the destination areas around the globe. But as far as the core DNA of a fly shop, I think it's built upon the local community.
Yeah, which is great because it makes them all unique. I haven't been in a single shop that's been the same as another one.
Yeah.
You know, they're all different. They're all unique. They all have their own charm to it, which is cool. And I'm excited to see hopefully about 30 more shops, you know, maybe 33. Some towns were hitting two, some were hitting one, some were struggling to find one. But, you know, most of the time the guys are opening up the doors. They're letting us in. And, you know, like the hatch
Yes.
was closed. He opened up the door. He's like, I want to talk to you. Come on in. And I was like, very nice, you know. And then the guys over at Knoxville at Smoky Mountain Angler, you know, he's the one that put me in touch with Fish Knoxville. He's like, I can't go today, but he's like, call my buddy. He's like, he'll go fishing with you. Next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. We're on a panga. You know, we're fishing on a river, and
Wow.
I'm like, how did I get here today? Like, so it's super cool. You know,
Well,
every day's new.
Speaking for everyone, we appreciate the light being shown on local fly shops, stores that are built to help people enjoy what we already know about.
And that's what we're really enjoying about it is like, you know, there's so many shops that, you know, you just wouldn't know about. And not saying you guys obviously are known in your area, but we really want to shed light on the people that are traveling into here. You know, they can go online, they can watch this video, they can be like, okay, you know, we like these guys, you know, let's go check out their shop. They could check out some of the footage we shot around the shop. They get a feel for it. So when they come in here, it's going to feel like they've already been here. It's like when you go to eat at a restaurant that you've eaten at 10 times. You already know where you're going to sit. You already know what you want. Like, go do it. So that's at least our goal with it. We hope it's successful, you know, and at the end of the day, I got to meet you guys. I got to come in here, so I'm checking it off my list and enjoying it.
Glad you're here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for talking to us. Look forward to seeing you at Jesse Brown's.
If you guys are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area and you're remotely interested in fishing or just hanging out with these guys, I'm pretty sure they'll sit in a chair and talk to you all day because, you know, I could do it. Come by Jesse Brown's and we'll see you guys in the next state.